we've got a hero in Jose. I love Jose Alvarado, but I still can't give him an A+. I'm going to go with an A- for Jose. I do think that Jose, 33 total batters faced in the postseason, 8 inherited runners scored. Jose had a lot that he was our steady closer reliever. Wherever you needed Jose, he plugged him in, he was fine. But unfortunately, I still remember in the postseason, Jose, just some moments that were a little bit off and costly. So I can't go A+ because I'm no Miss Honey, and I definitely wasn't close to an A. But I think that 1.74 ERA absolutely puts him into an A category and is one of my favorites to take the mound for the Phillies.
Yeah, I was real close to an A- or an A-, I should say. I went with a B+ just because I think there was a little bit of ups and downs. Another guy that dealt with a little bit of an injury this year. But I think he's your closer going forward. I love Jose Alvarado. The friendship bracelets.
Yeah.
He's clearly a good locker room guy. He's got nasty stuff.
He brings the tequila and Don Julio.
I want B+, but
1942.
I could be talked into an A- easily. I really like Jose Alvarado.
I'm giving him another homer A+.
Nice.
He's the guy that went from making me feel like heart attack Hector Neris to like, hey, I can go get a beer in the kitchen when he's in.
Yeah.
Don't even have to watch. Lights out.
I like that. That's a good reasoning because you feel comfortable enough to go get a beer and you know what Jose is going to do. Tyler, are you that comfortable too?
I've been comfortable with Jose Alvarado for quite some time now. And I see a lot of people in the chat that are saying, he still makes you nervous when he goes out there because there is a chance that at any point that command loses itself. But over the last couple of years, he's been basically since the demotion to the minors and being brought back up midway through last year, he's been the Phillies' best reliever over the last 2 seasons. A 1.16 whip for a guy with that small of a sample size in innings pitched is pretty darn impressive. Almost 14 strikeouts per 9. And the thing that gives me the most joy out of watching Jose Alvarado pitch this year is he pitches with a purpose. He's that 3.56 strikeout to walk ratio is his career best, but I don't even care about statistically speaking. When I look at him and I watch him and he throws that cutter on the inner half and he throws the sinker up at the hands or down at the feet, it's back like it's pitching with a purpose, right? Instead of him just throwing the cutter, he's throwing it off the back foot to get guys to break their bat and drive themselves into the ground. When he's throwing that high fastball, it's not just, I'm going to throw this as hard as I possibly can. There's purpose to those pitches. He's become a pitcher. At the beginning of his career, he was a thrower.
Yeah.
And he's become a pitcher over the course of the last 2 seasons specifically. He gets an A for me, strictly because the expectations for me were there and he meets them. But Renee, I do have to ask if you don't mind. Do you have to have like a Bob Gibson type year to get an A+? Like what do you have to do to get an A+ in this game?
Well, it's very simple.
Mrs. Turnbuckle
I could
over
be
here.
easily bought. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just feel like an A+ for a whole year. That to me is like you're perfect, and nobody was. Everybody had a drop off at some point. Everybody at some point, and unfortunately, what usually is the difference is when that drop off happens. You're human. You're not going to be perfect throughout the entire season. You're going to have a bad day, just like we have bad days at work. Also, I know Tyler, we've talked about that, but I think it's the timing of it. It's the consistency of how you're able to work yourself through those ruts. So I'm not that bad. I just feel like an A+ for an entire year. That's a lot of games we're talking about.